the biggest guy that's available at the deadline in Suarez over from Arizona. He was listed as ESPN's top guy to go get, top guy to be moved at the trade deadline. He's on fire in July. 4 home runs over the past couple days, 9 home runs on the month. His value, his trade value, has skyrocketed here, and it's going to lead to a bidding war between teams like the Tigers, the Yankees, the Mariners, the Giants, the Cubs, all these teams that are consistently big buyers at the deadline, a territory that the Tigers are certainly not familiar with. Do you believe that the Tigers are going to change their ways and recognize the situation that they're in and try to add a guy with 33 home runs, which obviously would lead this Tigers team right now? I get it. It's not the biggest need. Obviously, that would be bullpen. Maybe even a starter is listed ahead of a third baseman. But you end up getting an everyday third baseman on the team that allows Zach McKinstry, Javi Baez to play shortstop. You can put Zach McKinstry in the outfield a little bit more. Hell, you can put Javi Baez out in center field if you really want to. Like, that's still an option that the Tigers have because, well, if Suarez is coming back, or if Suarez, I guess, is coming back to Detroit and Kerry Carpenter's coming off IL, there's 2 roster spots that kind of have to be cleared up. And I'm looking around like, okay, Matt Vierling, you're on watch. Trey Sweeney, you're on watch. Parker Meadows, you're on watch. All these guys, look, I guess that's not the point of this conversation. We can have that a little bit later on in the show. But what I want to know from the people are you mentally prepared for the Tigers to change their ways and be not only contenders to win a World Series, but contenders to try to land these top guys that are available at the trade deadline? The same way that big market teams that are consistently in this spot, that are consistently chasing World Series, are always willing to do, because Scott Harris has been a little bit protective of that farm system that he's built up. You guys know where I stand on it. I'd be willing to give up some big-time names at this year's deadline. Now, I don't think you have to give up the big-time names, you know the 2 I'm talking about, to go get a guy like Suarez. But with how hot he is right now and how big of a market there is for him right now, don't be surprised if this costs you 2 top 10 prospects. I would do it with the blink of an eye, because those prospects are not helping you win a World Series that is presented in front of you right now, right? There's an avenue to walk to get to a World Series. You can see it. The path is right there. And you can add someone with 33 home runs already this season. Maybe this is the best month Suarez has, all of 2025. Can't be surprised if that happens. Again, an 1,100 OPS and 9 home runs just in July, and we're only 21 days in. So, yeah, he is on fire right now. Maybe he can't repeat that the rest of the season. But regardless, you're adding an 800-plus OPS to the everyday lineup. You've got a chance to improve your team that much. It's the best player available at the deadline. This is a no-brainer to me. Give up what it takes to be able to get a guy who wants to come to Detroit. The scariest part, though, is, Kyle, I'm just not all that convinced that the Tigers are a team and an organization that is willing to outbid the likes of Yankees, Mariners, Cubs, Giants, you know?
Right. Well, my question to you would be, where's the proof? Like, why do you feel that way? Because the Tigers have not been put in a situation to test that yet.
Correct.
Like Scott Harris, you talk about how he protects the farm system. Of course he does, because that's been his only option so far. Like, them to trade prospects at all the last 4 years under Scott Harris would have not made any sense.
Correct. And maybe this is simply, I haven't seen it yet, so why do I believe it? And maybe some
Which
of
is fair.
The other tendencies of this team of lack of aggression spending in the offseason.
Especially when you compare it to the Yankees, Dodgers, who will trade their prospects every single trade deadline.
Right. I think some of that might be bleeding into the way I think on this, but I think that's kind of fair reasoning behind it.
I would agree.
Look, I know, like, it's not like Scott Harris hasn't spent money in free agency. I mean, you and I this weekend were joking around, texting each other, like, this Alex Cobb situation really might be the worst trade.
He's for real not about to suit up.
I don't think he's going to play the entire year. And they gave him it's not like you signed him for a couple $million. $15 million. That's not cheap. That could be forever Scott Harris's worst move,
especially for this team and this division.
And he gave Jack Flaherty $25 million. That's a little bit of an overpay too. That second year on the contract, the $10 million is probably more so what accurately depicts what Jack Flaherty's worth these days. So it's not like he can't and won't spend money. But it's not like you're consistently going after these top guys in free agency. You kind of settle and try to find these nice contracts. I know we just kind of crapped on the last 2 guys' contracts worth, but they've kind of done a savvy thing and tried to done the smart thing and save themselves some coin when I get it, that works sometimes, but I think sometimes you got to just throw them up on the table and say, here's what we've got. Let's try to chase this thing.
This weekend didn't help them, that's for sure.
No.
With Suarez going deep 4 times in 2 games.
But you know what else didn't help them this weekend? 3 runs, including a shutout against Texas.
And that's what I was going to ask you, because when you were talking about the Suarez stuff, like, is it a more of a need or a want? And you said, well, obviously it's not the team's biggest need. Is it obviously? I mean, the Tigers aren't in the situation where they blow the game on Friday due to the bullpen if they put up more than 0 runs.
Right. And you're thinking Kerry Carpenter comes back to the lineup and helps out with the offense a little bit, but only half the time. That's the issue.
Right.
Because at 27, I feel like we've just kind of established he's only useful when certain pitchers are in the lineup. You know, it's not like this
We haven't established that. A.J. Hinch has established that. He doesn't play against lefties.
Right. And I don't, like, at 27, I just don't think that's changing all that often anymore. So you get that guy back in the lineup, and maybe you can eliminate like the threesome of Trey Sweeney, Parker Meadows, Vierling. I know Vierling came through in a big way last night, but is rocking a sub 600.
Which was nice to see.
Right, but has struggled mightily. Like, remember we fell into this Parker Meadows trap of first 2 weeks were rough, then we talked about it, hit that home run, and then ever since then it's been a pretty...
Right. I wouldn't say it
been
was
a black
trap,
hole in the
though,
lineup.
because last year he really caught a good stride for a long stretch of time.
Who, Meadows?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
So I don't
hasn't
think
been
this
the
year,
case
I don't
this
think
year
it was
at
a
all.
trap we fell in. You're right, but...
To the point where, like, he's not safe from being sent down to AAA. Like, and that's not just like, hey, you need to get better. It's, well, if they're going to add a guy like Suarez, someone has to get sent down, especially if Kerry's also coming. Look, we'll get into that conversation a little bit later on. But in terms of, do you believe in this Tigers organization to outbid some of these other big market teams that are consistently chasing World Series? That's kind of where I want to hear from the people. 989-837-6125, because there is a little bit of hesitation for me to say, I believe that the Tigers are going to be the team that comes out on top and winners of the deadline. And, you know, we do this with the Lions too, because Brad Holmes said one time, or Dan Campbell said one time, like, oh, we're not trying to win the headlines. We're trying to win in February when it matters. And I think people grab that and are like, well, yeah, you don't have to win any offseason stuff anymore. But it's like, sometimes you still want to go land the best guy that's available.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Suarez is clearly the best guy that's available in terms of the bats.
I mean, and not only is he
year.
the best guy that's available, but, like, he's a guarantee to get traded.
Yeah.
Like, Arizona's for sure wiping everything of their expiring guys. They have Jordan Lawler, who's their top prospect, just waiting to fill in at third base. You can't just keep Suarez with the season that he's having.
And it's hilarious, too, because it's like, what have the Tigers always kind of needed? Is that everyday third baseman. And Zach McKinstry has blown expectations out of the water to where that's not as much of a need as it was, you know, a few months ago.
He fits every box that you wanted the Tigers to check.
Right.
A righty with power that plays on the left side of the infield.
And is he a below average defender these days? Yes, but I don't think that's significant enough to overlook.
No.
33 home runs.
Absolutely
God,
not.
we freak out that Riley Green is 24. This guy has 33 home runs on an expiring deal. So, yes, it's a rental. Is this someone that you'd look to re-sign? Maybe, but I don't even think the Tigers should be thinking about that at this moment in time. You can see a World Series. You see the path. You can lock yourself into a playoff spot right now. So why would you not go try to improve your team at this moment in time? And the scarier thing is, even if you don't improve your team, guess who might end up improving their team? The Yankees. I guess the Giants are less of a consideration. The Mariners
are another team that could make a reunion with EUGENIO Suárez.
And the Mariners just lit you up. Like, the Mariners have 4 awesome bats at the top of their lineup in Arozarena and Crawford and Cal Raleigh and Rodriguez.
J-Rod.
If they add Suarez to that, I don't even think it's close. The Mariners are by far the team I'm afraid of the most in the American League. So not only, if you don't land Suarez, not only do you fail to improve your team at the deadline, at least offensively, but you also let another team inch a little bit closer to you, a team that has had your number, and more importantly, has had your best pitcher's number all season long. Because all 4 of those bats that I just named at the top of their lineup are hitting, I think it was like 326 versus Skubal in the 2 starts against him. I know that's like a very small sample size, but they've had Skubal's number the very rare team that has had Skubal's number. I don't love the idea of Suarez ending up in Seattle. And Seattle's not necessarily that big market team that you're afraid of, like the Yankees, who consistently
They'll go out and make moves, though.
Right. The Yankees consistently show we don't really care about our farm system. We'll get our guys. We've got the best scouts.
They also just don't have a very good farm system.
No, because they're always willing to give guys up. The Tigers, by far, can hand out the most to teams at the deadline. Of any team that wants to sell, the Tigers should be the first call because of how many things that the Tigers can put on the table with how deep their farm system is. It's just a matter of, will they actually start dishing some of these farm system players out? To be determined. It'd be somewhat of a disappointment, though, if they don't go get a guy.
If they are going to get Suarez, let's just say that's the move they make at the deadline, but they don't address the bullpen starting pitching region.
Oh, that
let's
also
say they make
a
really tiny trade for a bullpen guy. Like, let's just say that's what they do. Are you satisfied? Because we're doing this, is Suarez a need or a want? And obviously, it's for sure a want, but has it crept into that need territory yet?
I think it has.
And more than the others?
No, not more than the bullpen. But you know what they say sometimes is double down on your strengths rather than not. It's not like you don't try to improve on your weaknesses.
So what is their strength?
Is it
depth?
Starting pitching?
Base running?
Base running, you could say, is their strength. But just having guys in the lineup that you can, depth, depth of the bats, I think, is their strength right now.
Probably.
There's just a lot of guys that you feel comfortable with when the game is on the line in this rotation or in this lineup right now. And if you can add Suarez to the mix, all of a sudden you've got, 5 guys with an OPS of over 800? That makes you feel a lot better.
I'm just wondering what you prioritize, because Suarez for sure obviously would be the best name that they can get. But is it the biggest need? Are you happy with the deadline if that's what they do? And that's basically it. They don't want to pay many more prospects going out to acquire other guys.
I'd be pretty shocked if that was their only move. It feels like they're destined to do, a couple top 30 prospects for a relief pitcher. And Scott Hurst is going to work the waiver wires. He's already been doing that, trying to get this new wave of bullpen arms that we don't know their name until they roll out there. But Chris Fetter gets a hold of them and makes him good for a couple of outings.
Arizona has 2 to 3 starting pitchers that are also potentially on the move. So you could see maybe a Suarez plus a pitcher package. So that's always in play as well.
989